Hey everyone, welcome to the first lesson in this beginner series for PocketSim. My name is Midge, and I'll be your instructor during this series. If you haven't done so already, we strongly recommend that you download the free demo simulation using the link provided. This will help you follow along with the series, but you can also just sit back and watch if you prefer to do so. Remember, the demo simulation download does not require registration of any kind on our website. In this series, we will focus on the PocketSim user interface, how to create Pocket devices, and how to create connections between devices and objects. This series was developed for teachers and content developers, but it will also have huge benefits for students who are using our PocketSim simulations. So let's kick off by looking at the drawing tools here in the top left corner of the screen. The drawing tools are only visible in the teacher version of simulations so that they can make notes during video lessons. So if you can't see the tools, don't stress, just follow along in the video. Most of these tools are pretty self-explanatory, but there are just a couple of things I need to point out. Firstly, we have the selection tool. The selection tool will disable all drawing or erasing tools, and thus allow you to adjust parameters on Pocket devices without drawing on the screen. That is a mouthful, so let me give you an example. I have a Pocket scope docked here, so let me undock it with the selection tool active. I can now drag this device around by clicking and dragging this bottom right corner. Now let's see what happens if I try to do that with the pen tool active. You will notice that with the pen tool active, we cannot drag the device. And also, since the pen tool is active, we are drawing as I'm trying to drag around the device. So it is important to keep this in mind when you're recording a lesson. Besides that, some parameters on devices just won't work if you don't have the selection tool active. The general rule of thumb is to always use the selection tool when you're not busy making notes on the screen. The next tool is the line tool. This is a click and drag option and will draw a line from the point where you hold down your left mouse button until you release. For example, if I want to drag a line between these two corners of the diode bridge, I can hold in my mouse button here, move somewhere else, and release. You can use this slider to adjust the thickness of the line. You will also notice that the drawing tools activate this color palette that you can use to choose your drawing color. The pen is next and works exactly the same as the line tool. You will mostly use the pen to make notes on the screen and in the notepad, similar to the notes that I am making in this video. The eraser tool is used for erasing lines or notes, and you can also adjust the width of the eraser using this slider. The Clear All button will erase all your notes in the viewport, but not in your notepad. This is useful for when you have a bunch of notes on the screen that you quickly want to erase, just like this. Lastly, we have the notepad. Clicking the notepad icon will expand it, and clicking it again will hide it. The notepad is used for more permanent notes that you might want to call up later during the lesson. You might also find it useful if you want to make some notes before you start to record your lesson to save some time. In the next lesson, we will look at the viewport, but just a quick note regarding the drawing tools. It is important to realize that the drawing tools are a two-dimensional canvas overlaying the entire screen. The content in the viewport is mostly three-dimensional. This can create an issue when you move or rotate your 3D content. So let me give you a final example. Let's use the pen tool and label the capacitor, as well as the DC motor. Okay, that's nice, but let's see what happens if I rotate the content of the viewport. Can you see how the text notes are now out of line with the respective 3D objects? This can be avoided by planning your lesson properly and making sure when you want to make notes on the screen and where. Oh yes, before I forget, by using your numeric shortcut keys on your keyboard, all the drawing tools can be quickly accessed. So go ahead and try those out as well. We try to keep our lessons between 5 to 7 minutes, so let's end this one here, and in the next lesson, we'll talk about the viewport and object parameters.